All right, let's get into it, I suppose, here. First, we will start off with
That's a
the
Nick
list.
Mullins reference. That's what that is. It's Big Dick
Oh,
Nick Mullins.
we're calling Nick Mullins that now?
I
Oh,
guess so. I don't know.
we're just saying that
Ah,
to
there it is.
anyone named Nick?
He put it up. The
Oh,
same thing.
that was a
There
Nick
we go.
Mullins reference. Good job.
We figured it
All
out
right,
just in time.
quarterbacks. If by some slim chance you're in a 1 QB league and these guys are available and you've made it to the second round of the playoffs, despite that, some of the higher rostered options are Sam Howell, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Baker, and Geno Smith. I think most of them are probably gone by now. The bottom two categories here, these are your super flex options, various levels of desperation. Jake Brown and Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew, Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he plays based on them being eliminated, but it's desperate times. We got Will Levis, who also might not play, so you can add Ryan Tannehill to that list. We're waiting to see. We got Bailey Zappi, Mitchell Trubisky, Tommy DeVito, Aiden O'Connell, Drew Lock, Nick Mullins, Case Keenum, Desmond Ritter, or Taylor Heineke and Easton Stick. And that's amazing that this list here not only are decent waiver stashes, like what's this, 20 names I listed here? These are
Yep.
all quarterbacks who I think will be starting this week, with the exception of one or two, like Rodgers. Like, this is the list of starting quarterbacks in the NFL for week 16. This is
uh,
terrifying.
Although you can cross Desmond Ritter off that list because Taylor Heineke is back.
It's official. Okay,
They've
I
already
wrote this.
announced
This
it.
was published yesterday when it wasn't official. In the matchup guide, I put Heineke because I thought it was leaning that way, but when this
Yep.
was published, it was still we're undecided. So
Yeah, I mean, and against Indy, it's not a great matchup, but it's not terrible. You still want nothing to do with Heineke. He's desperation. Ritter got it done with his legs, right? So that gave you a little bit of extra, um, leeway in terms of maybe starting him. Heineke just doesn't have that upside, so you can leave him on the bench and go for someone like Mullins if he's out there. I'd much prefer him or Drew Lock.
I had a guy in one of my leagues last night go in. I think it was my friend league friend. I guess they weren't very friendly to each other. He had Baker and he benched him for Geno, 1 QB, benched him for Geno. So he gets to last night's game down 6.5 points or something, like an hour before the game starts. Not even, might have been 4 hours before, around, dinner time. His opponent just randomly adds Drew Lock. This is before it was
Ooh.
announced or anything. So he,
Smart,
he sticks him with no quarterback right
smart
when it's
move.
announced. I'm going, wow. He's like, no, I didn't know. He's like, I was just playing it safe. And yep, that was brilliant. Got him a
Well
win.
done.
Made it to the next round in both my leagues. Oh, a good amount to y'all. Well, I guess
Nice.
we've never done anything good. Actually, I had one guy actually say something. I was reading, he's had this thread with me. I didn't realize I was replying in a thread, and it's been
Yep.
going since like week 4, and apparently I haven't missed on any of the advice I gave him, and I
Nice.
wanted to have it framed because I was amazed. But need help deciding my lineup. If you got the time, I'll list them. Yeah, go for it.
Throw it in there, Dylan.
Yeah, throw it in there. We're going to get a little more into quarterbacks. And before we switch to the next position, I will get into that. So type your formats, your options, and we'll get into it. So like I said, it's kind of scary. I think my favorite two options right now are Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield. Sam Howell was pulled for the second straight game, but they said he's going to be the starter. Like, Joe Flacco is my favorite probably option for the third category here. And the dart throws, Aiden O'Connell. Like, I haven't really, I'm not into next week yet, so I couldn't tell you who the Raiders have. I feel like based off of some prep I did, it's a really shitty matchup, but who do you like in here?
Yeah, man, it's not looking great schedule wise, right? Like Joe Flacco has a couple of tough matchups. Baker Mayfield has Jacksonville coming up this week, but then New Orleans to cap things off.
Oh, so
So
Jacksonville's a good matchup, but
oh yeah. But ideally, right, you're looking for obviously it's win or go home. So you got to look at it kind of a week to week situation. At the same time, if I'm picking up guys at this range, I want to know that they're good for 2 weeks in a row, if I can. That's kind of why I like Nick Mullins over most of the tertiary options. We saw what Jordan Addison can do with Mullins. We know Hawkinson is there, and of course JJ is back And Mullins put up, I don't know where he ended up on the week, but he put
13
up,
or
yeah,
14
13.
between Lamar and Hurts, because that's how we all drew it up.
Yeah, but he still put up, he threw it, he went 26 for 33 with over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? So he's getting it done. He gets Detroit next week. And then depending on whether or not Jair Alexander's back, he gets Green Bay in week 17, who hasn't been scary with Alexander out. So I kind of prefer him over those options. But even with some tougher matchups, they're not terrible. I would prefer Stafford over all here.
I was gonna say that, and I was looking because he's had what one, two, three, four games in a row. That's exactly who I was looking at. 4 games in a row of over 27.5 fantasy points. He gets New Orleans though this week. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Yep.
I don't really know. Like I'm trying to look here. I'm gonna, like I said, we're still on Tuesday. This is Tuesday morning prep work here, so I haven't quite moved into next week and checked all the matchups. So I'm doing this on the fly. Stafford gets the Saints, don't love it. Howell gets the Jets, hate it. Derek Carr gets the Rams, don't love it. Russell Wilson gets the Patriots, don't love it.
Nope.
Tampa gets Jacksonville. That is by far my favorite matchup so far.
Agree.
Geno gets the Titans, also a great matchup. So I think out of the top 6 here, Baker's probably my favorite option. I didn't really like Geno. Well, Geno didn't play, so I don't really like the way Geno's been trending. So
yeah, agree. Like I have a situation here, and probably many do, even though he wasn't amazing last week. But I have Lamar Jackson going up against San Francisco, and a lot of my matchups coming up this week, right? So I don't think I'm benching Lamar for Baker, but it is a concern for sure. And it's
but like
I don't know, maybe Geno, maybe it's something to think about.
This
If
is not
nothing
the
else.
week if you're streaming backups, though. I'm looking. It's not getting prettier. So Browning's got the Steelers.
Yeah, no.
Flacco's
yeah, that's a good one.
Flacco's got the Texans, which is a decent matchup. But Minshew has, where was it? I just had
Atlanta.
Falcons. I don't really care for that.
Yeah.
Who do we have? Aiden O'Connell. He gets the Chiefs. Want no part of that.
Nope.
Tommy DeVito gets the Eagles, so that's a good one. But we
but
have
it's
half
DeVito.
of these guys here. If you're looking, obviously you're looking for Week 16. Half of these guys are not going to be streamable just based solely on matchups. So I think Baker Mayfield may be my favorite this week.
I would agree with that. And then I think you can't go wrong with Matt Stafford. He's just balling. All his weapons are healthy. Kyron Williams is running all over defenses. McVay is in his bag. He's just doing it, from a play calling perspective. And Stafford is so savvy as a veteran. He can make all the throws. Everybody's healthy. It's ridiculous. How is everybody healthy in LA? I don't know, but it's happening. And so Stafford is by far my number one choice, but agree that Baker matchup